What's behind door number 1? This panel, which is what behind this is our home run for internet and what used to be well, it is still our cable, now a dish network home run. So I've recently, this morning, my internet went out, and you know, they always tell you to come down here and reset your modem. Well, for me, I've always had to remove these 6 screws and take this panel off and reset it. I since have gotten a little smarter and just flipped the breaker in the electrical panel to kind of kill this and whatever else is connected to this circuit. But I want to be able to get in and out of here easier, and I've always thought about doing it, and today was kind of the last straw. So I'm just going to build a frame and a door that'll sit on top of it, and that frame will give me a little extra space, 3/4 of an inch, and then the door will just swing. But even though this is not that complicated a project, you still have to take in consideration what kind of hinges you're going to use. And for me, I just was digging through some of my stuff, and I found these European style snap close hinges, and I was trying to figure out whether they were 1/2 inch or 3/8 overlay. They have these tongues here that sit on the frame, and then you can only adjust them up and down, which is no big deal. I'll be able to do that easy enough. So I was trying to figure out what they were, and I was about ready to call them 3/8 hinges. I was using this to offset from the edge to see what kind of overlay they were. And I just laid one down, and it's written right on the back of the hinge, 1/2 inch. So that took all the mystery out of that. So anyway, I'm just gonna rip this board into half, rip it in half. It's about 4 5/8, so I should end up with 2 2¼ inch pieces that I can joint, and then I'll rip again to get equal. I want to get a 2-inch frame out of this. So my 2 long pieces will come out of this. I need 40 inches. This measures 41. Then out of this, I'll get 2 pieces for my door frame. And out of this, I can get 4 pieces, 14 inches wide or long for my frame. And then my door I'll figure that out after I get my frame made, what I need for that. But I'm going to take this down the other end of my bench and just run a hand plane over them quick to remove those mill marks. And you know, if they're a hair under 2 inches or just a little bit inconsistent, I'm not that concerned about it. The frame will be what it's going to be. Pretty much one pass on each of them, and that's just a nice feeling when you get shavings like that. This is not the hardest wood in the world, but still feels good. My bit's moving. I didn't get my collet tight enough. I'm going to tighten that up. Just set a stop here. Okay, by setting that stop, I was able to get my fence back to the exact position it was in. And now I'm ready to start up again. I haven't had that happen to me in a long time. So, a lesson learned there, I guess. Make sure your collet is tight around your bit. All right, let's try this again. Where I started this groove from the top and it should have been a stop datum or stop groove. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. Let me plug that one and then well actually I can finish it and then I'll plug it, I guess. Alright, got it flushed up. After I got close, I just took two little passes with my with a fine setting on one of my block planes, then a couple of full length, flush trim it, and we're good to go. All right, I cut my panel to length before I did my repair, but now I left it purposely strong widthwise so you can see how much I have to remove. I've made that adjustment on my fence. I'll make that cut. Here's a little tip for you. Take a block and put it up against the two pieces you want to mark. And then I bring my square up, and in this case, it works out pretty well because I want it to be centered, and I'm working with 2-inch pieces here. But I can just kind of push everything together, and then make my mark, and know that everything was flush and trued up. So you just do that on all four corners, and you get nice true marks there. Right, after looking at my metal box in the other room there, I've decided that I'm going to create the rabbit by gluing strips on the back of this, because for two reasons. I need to have this full width on the door, or on the frame I mean, to give me a place for the screw. So if I thin this up too much, I'll be screwed. So I don't want to be breaking this out. So all I'm going to do then is I'm going to rip this into 1.5 inch strips. That'll give me about a 1/2 inch rabbit inside here. And bandsaw them down the center, run them through my planer, and if I get a full fat quarter, that should be plenty. Alright, and end up with a nice fat quarter, 287. So that's good. These two strips here are the best long strips. They came out of the same piece, so you can see that kind of a book match there. And then these two had a little skip right there, but I only need about that much out of these. Actually, I can probably just get it out of one piece. This piece looks to be the best. So I'll get 2 pieces out of this, and I'll save this for something down the road. And I purposely cut these a little long to force these long pieces just to the outside edges, probably a 32nd of an inch. I'll keep these proud of the top and bottom and trim them up as well. So I'm just gonna face glue them right to this. All right, using these spring clamps is a little bit tricky. These things want to kind of slide around on you, but I did the two end pieces first. I had 4 spring clamps on here on each end, and they were, once they were able to sit a little bit, that glue starts to take hold. Now it's time to flush things up. You can see the little lip I have here. Same on the other side. Pretty much the same on the bottom. So I've got to clean that up. I'll just put it in my on my bench. Hand plane that flush. I got the first side done, and it went relatively quickly. Well, I thought maybe this would be worth showing. When I'm doing this, I'm kind of letting the plane tip toward this bigger piece, so that as I get closer to that, it'll start to come back into plane once I get down to, I guess what I'm saying is that as this surface gets lower, the block plane will rotate back into flush with this big piece here. And I still check though, because this is not perfectly straight. There are higher spots and lower spots, like right here. This is a little bit lower than the two ends. All right, one more pass. And there you have it. That's nice and flush. But I think I found the sweet spot with this setup here. The only thing I don't like about this hinge is that it's not adjustable. It's adjustable this way, but not in and out. So I can't bring it tighter to the frame without doing some major work. And this hinge is not designed for that anyway. So you can see that it's going to sit proud of the frame, probably a good eighth anyway. And it'll snap closed, and I'll put some bumpers on it. And it'll look alright because this part is going to be toward that door. But my first time when I drilled it, you can see here, I was getting interference right there. That's no good. And plus, the further in I drilled it, then the more overlap there would be too. So I don't want that. So this is what I'm going to use, is this setting right here. It's about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And no interference, no scraping. You can see that it clears that perfectly. And then when it's fully open, it doesn't bottom out against this frame piece either. There's just a little bit of daylight there. So that's what I want as well. Now you can see it. So I'll locate the two drill spots, and then we can mount it. Right, I found some screws that'll work. And then installing these hinges, you just want to make sure that they're nice and square. like right there. The new one is finger pull, and it's just a recessed pull with a core box bit. I made a center mark here, and then off of that my start and stop points are 2 inches from either end. Set up a couple stops with just some hand screw clamps. My bit is below the tabletop. I'll make a pass, raise it up, make another pass, and then raise it up one more time. I'll check my depth and see where I'm at. I think I might have to go deeper. Then I'll just lower it back down and then do that operation again. Yeah, leave it right there. Well, one thing I will tell you, when I was setting these stops up, I made sure that at least this face was square to the fence and making that square to the tabletop, and then this one as well. Because my work is so tall, I don't want it to be registering off of like the top of this. You know, if anything, I'd want it off the bottom, but right now I can take and put it into this corner, pivot it in, slide it up to there, and then, yeah, that one there it is, just hitting it on the bottom, but that's okay. Okay, so here we go. That leaves me a good 1/4 inch out here, and with some sanding, that'll be a nice pull. I got my drills ready. Got the door mounted back on the frame. Holes are drilled and ready for plugs. I got some 2-inch screws that I'll put in there. That'll be plenty to go through that 1/2 inch drywall. Give me a good 1-inch portion of that screw threaded into the studs. So I'm going to go hang it on the wall, make sure everything is going to be fine, and then I'll take a shot of that and show it to you. And then I'll pull it back off, paint it, and put it back up there. That's better. So much easier to get to that mess now. Put the plugs in it. That'll be nice. So before and after. Thanks for watching.